I'd like to call to order the May 8th meeting of the Davie County School Board, and the first item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Fuller. I have a second by Colonel Hills. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Next item on the agenda is I need a motion to go into closed session to preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant.
You don't have to say it, just say to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
There you go.
And to discuss personnel matters protected by state law. We're not doing any student zone. That's all?
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. We are currently in closed session. I'd like to reconvene the Davie County School Board meeting of May 8th, and I'd like to welcome everyone this evening. The first item on the agenda is the invocation. If you will please bow with me in prayer. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all of our staff members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations, and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all of those who have placed their trust and confidence in us. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all, and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. It's in your holy name we pray. Amen. And next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Boy Scout Troop 505 will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our regular meeting of April 10th, and also the special minutes from the called meeting work session on April 23rd. I have a motion by Ms. Owens. I have a second by Colonel Hales. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. We're missing one. Next item on the agenda is important dates, and I'll bring your attention to a few of them. Can't believe we're getting to graduations, but May 19th, the Davie County Early College High School graduation at Calvary Baptist Church. May 21st, we start our DARE graduations at Moxville. May 22nd, we have a retirement reception at Kenderton at Widmock for our teachers and staff. May 23rd, we have a DARE graduation at Cornancer, and the 24th, we have DARE graduation at Culinary. And I think that's it. Brings us to June. It's insane. Next item on the agenda is the Superintendent's Report, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Hartness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Today is Teacher Appreciation Day, and this is Teacher Appreciation Week. I hope you will join me in thanking your children's teachers and maybe even reaching out and contacting some of your favorite teachers, if they're still around, right? So, y'all didn't laugh at that. Ha ha. But we really sincerely appreciate our teachers and the work that they do with our students every day. I want to thank the board for all of you who have participated in the many recognitions we've had this past month. A number of you were able to join us for our Office Professionals Luncheon to recognize them. I saw so many of you, every one of you, at Character Education Awards Night in the auditorium at the new Davie High. That was a nice event. We've had our Stars of the Year banquet, our Art Smart Festival. You've been to parent advisory councils, and I want to say on behalf of the staff, we thank you for being an active listening board and out talking to our parents and citizens about what they value about public education in our community. So thank you, board, for that. I want to thank our staff who planned our first responder event for students with special needs at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center a few weeks ago. That was an excellent opportunity for our students to be in an environment where they can learn about emergency equipment and be involved in interacting with emergency personnel in a non-emergency situation. It also gives our emergency personnel an idea of how to best respond to a child with special needs. So I want to thank law enforcement and all of our staff who were involved in making that opportunity happen. I think that's a model program in Davie County. In April, I also attended the night at the Oscars hosted by our community foundation, where our graduating seniors received almost $200,000 in local scholarships. We are blessed as a community to have that opportunity here for our students. There's a lot of people who raise money for a lot of great events. I lost a lot of golf balls at Pudding Ridge a few weeks ago as our administrators held a golf tournament for scholarships. So even our administrators and our principals are modeling giving back to the community, and I want to thank them for that. The polls will be closing soon tonight. I hope everyone got out to vote today or in the past few weeks. I want to thank Clint and Barbara for their willingness to continue to serve on this board and to put their name out there to be considered. An update on our field house. Construction contracts have been signed. You will see construction beginning on that campus at the Davie County High School War Eagle Stadium, where we will have a field house being erected over the summer for all of the sports that participate and compete in the stadium. Tonight, we have on our agenda a 5-year extension to our interlocal agreement with the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners adopted that interlocal agreement unanimously at their meeting last night, so we're thankful for the partnership that you have developed with the Board of Commissioners to help both of our boards plan better. The board has received my budget message, and you'll be asked to adopt a draft budget resolution tonight. I am hearing from Raleigh that the legislature will be convening on May the 16th, and I'm hearing that their goal is to be in and out of town in 30 days. So we could have a budget by July the 1st this year. So if that happens, I think that would probably be a good thing. Many of you have heard news about a March for Students or a Rally for Respect that's planned next Wednesday, May the 16th in Raleigh, the first day of the legislative session. We are continuously monitoring this situation, and if we do see that we do not have an adequate number of substitutes to cover the classes of our teachers who choose to participate in this event, we'll make a decision by Friday of this week about next Wednesday and what we might do, either closing school or otherwise. So just want to let you know that a decision will be made by Friday as we monitor this situation. Lastly, and on a personal note, I want to say thank you to all the teachers that have touched my children in Davie County Schools. I will be attending a college graduation on Friday. It's hard to believe that when we moved here, Madison was a sophomore. She'll be graduating from UNC Charlotte on Friday, and I want to say thank you to all the teachers in Davie County Schools that had a positive impact on my children's lives. That's what our teachers are about, and it's an appropriate time to thank them this week. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my comments tonight.
Thank you very much. And I think I heard on the radio this morning they're having people call in and being able to name their their teachers from kindergarten through 6th grade is what they were doing. It's just amazing how many people were calling in and being able to easily recite that off. My mind's not capable of doing that, but it's just amazing how the changes that the teachers play in our lives, and coaches and staff. I mean, everybody at the school system, the difference that you make. Thank you for that. Next item on the agenda is a great time that we always enjoy, and that's recognitions. The first item, first recognition is the Middle School Battle of the Books, and I'll turn it over to Jenda Haynes.
And guest. I want to start by saying With Donna McNeil's retirement, I really want to particularly recognize and thank the media coordinators in our district for all that they do. They have really stepped up this year, probably more than ever, as far as organizing and leading our local as well as our regional Battle of the Books competitions. And they coach our teams each year. So they put in a lot of time, and I just want to send a shout out to our media coordinators, some fabulous educators. We're going to start tonight with the middle school Battle of the Books. So I'm going to ask Sherry Crenshaw and her team to come up from South Davie Middle School. Our middle schools competed in a district competition, and then our South Davie team went on to compete in our regional competition in Yadkin County this year. These students read 27 books and answered, I'm not sure how many rounds of questions at this point after the local as well as the regional competitions, but it is intense. And so we want to recognize these folks for winning, for being our district winners, and also for going on to represent us in our region. So I'm going to hand these to Ms. Crenshaw and let her give them out as I call these students' names. Anna Catlett, Samantha Froelich, Skylar Link, Austin Makus, I think is not with us tonight, Hazel Marion, Cadence McEwen, Kaylee Robertson, Abigail Wells, and Allie Williams. Please join me in congratulating these ladies. We also are going to recognize our elementary school team that was our winner for our Battle of the Books here in Davie County. These elementary students read 12 books, were required to read all 12 and answer, again, many rounds of questions. Our Kernatzer Cougar White team was first place. We had a combination team from Culinary and Pine Brook that took second place, and then a third place team from Pine Brook, the Trojans Orange. But I'd like to ask Miss Amanda Brooks and her students to come forward. Amanda coaches this team, and she's going to help me recognize students. We have Rain Atkinson, Corey Bailey, Julia Bracken, Oliver Mears, Delaney Rathbone, and Shaylee Sheets. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. At this time, I will call Jeff Wallace up to present the CPC Tennis Conference Champion.
Chairman Fuller, thank you very much. Board, guests tonight, thank you for being here. And it's an honor to be able to stand here to recognize some of our students and our staff, coaches. And I will first start with Mr. Ben Fleming. Ben, if you don't mind, would you step up, please? And Coach Nixon, would you go ahead and step up with him as well? Folks, it's an honor to recognize Mr. Ben Fleming, a sophomore at Davie County High School, and his tennis coach, Mr. Shane Nixon. Ben earned his conference championship this year with an 8-2 record in conference. And I want to share just a little story about, a quick story. The 8-2, the two people he lost to during the regular season was the number 1 and number 2 player from Reagan, who at one time swept us, kicked us pretty hard 2 times, and also Ben lost to both of those, they're 1 and 2. Ben, then we go into the conference tournament, and Ben ended up defeating Reynolds, number 2 seed. He also defeated the 2 young men, 1 and 2, that had defeated him earlier to come out as conference champion. And Ben, that's quite the jump there, quite the change. And one of the points in here that your coach talks about, Coach Nixon, is how impressed he is with your change in maturity, both on the court and off the court, which you usually can't separate those two. Ben also touts a 3.8 GPA at the high school, And so he does a great job there. And one of the things that your coach says is that Ben Fleming is part of the reason. That's the kids you coach for. That's why you coach, because of this. And you see the progress the kid has made from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And it's always good to have him a couple more years, right, Coach? So if you don't mind, would you join me in congratulating the Central Piedmont Conference Tennis Championship, Mr. Ben Fleming? Good job. Also, while we're here celebrating, Mr. Shane Nixon, again, is our tennis coach. Coach Nixon has been involved with youth sports for 25 years. He started coaching at Davie County High School in 2013. He's the men's varsity basketball assistant coach. He also took over the men's tennis team in 2014. And so in 4 years, we've gone to the state championship or state tournament twice. He is also now, this year, been selected as the Central Piedmont Conference Coach of the Year for the second year in a row. Shane, he's what you see is what you get. That's what we like. And he has led this team to, last year's team produced a young man, Elijah Greger, that went on to compete at the college level, and I think it done very well. Yes, thank you. Won 49 matches over the last 4 years. So, and then last year's team set records for Davie County High School with the highest winning percentage in the school history. So, folks, I'd like to share with you, Mr. Nixon, Coach Nixon also mentioned how it's an honor to work with Doyle Nicholson, the principal at the high school, and Mike Absher for the things that they do. And Coach, we're very proud of you, very pleased, and join me in congratulating Mr. Shane Nixon, Central Piedmont Coach of the Year. Okay, Coach Kirkopoulos, please come forward. This is Laura Kirkopoulos. Ms. Kirkopoulos is a teacher at the high school, at Davie County High School. She has been with Davie County Schools, I think, for 6 years, right? She attended Appalachian State. She grew up in Yadkin County, attended Fort Bush High School. When she came off the mountain, we tugged her, so she landed across the line in Davie County, and she's been there ever since. I've known Laura for quite some time. She currently teaches our AP World History. I can speak to you as a father, both of my children have had her, and they did very well, and they love this lady to death. But Ms. Kirkopoulos also coaches cheerleading, football, and basketball, been involved there for 6 years. She also was started the initial team, the first women's lacrosse team 3 years ago, moved out of club play this year into conference play. And shall I present to you, Ms. Laura Kirkopoulos, the co-CPC Coach of the Year. Laura Kirkopoulos. Mr. Junker, while I'm rolling, shall I? All right, thank you. Just one other thing I'd like to mention to you. Each year, the High School Athletic Association recognizes our scholar athletes and scholar teams. And in the fall and winter is what I'll be referencing here. There are 15 varsity teams. Of those 15 varsity teams, 11 of Davie County High School's teams were scholar athlete teams. I'm going to say that again. We only have 15 teams, and 11 of those were scholar athlete teams, which means the cumulative GPA for all players was at least a 3.1 or better. So that is quite the feat there. One other thing I'd like to, and I want to mention those teams to you tonight, is women's indoor track, who sported a 3.24, men's indoor track, 3.22, women's swimming, 3.5, men's swimming, 3.48, cheerleading, 3.27, men's basketball, 3.38, volleyball, 3.53, women's cross country, 3.6, men's cross country, 3.2, women's tennis, 3.5, women's golf 3.2. Congratulations to each of those 11 teams. Also like to share one other thing with you, again, fall and winter. We had 300 and a little over 300 athletes or students that participated in a fall or winter sport. And of those, we had 158, over 50% of them, that are recognized as scholar athletes. And to be a scholar athlete, and we all understand what it means to be an athlete and attend school and do the things that you have to do, they have to maintain a 3.5 or better. Over 50% of our athletes in the fall and winter had a 3.5 GPA or better. We had 158 scholar athletes recognized for fall and winter sports. So please join me in congratulating that group as well.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all. There's one more recognition. We work as a team, so I get a note handed to me. Sometimes we forget things, but just like any other organization, I think of a great leader. You don't hear a lot about the success or the limelight or whenever they win an award. So I'm going to drag Dr. Hartness into the limelight again. He received an award from the Dragonfly House last month, recognized, and I'll go ahead and read the note just so I won't steal someone else's words, but he is not only our superintendent, he is recognized by other agencies, which I think is a big deal, as a serious supporter and children's advocate in Davie County. So we thank you for your leadership and what you do in this job, but we also thank you for what you do for the other kids or the kids in the county for a lot of other reasons, and we appreciate that. So thank you. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and I will entertain a motion. I have a motion by Mr. Drexler. Have a second? I have a second by Ms. Horn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next item on the agenda is our business items, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Hartness for the interlocal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This agenda item includes the interlocal agreement between the Board of Education and the Board of Commissioners. This is a 5-year extension of the existing interlocal agreement, and I've shared with you earlier the amendments, the minor amendments to that. But we are extremely fortunate to have this tool in Davie County. We're one of a few counties in the state that have an interlocal agreement. It has been a tremendous benefit for the county for planning purposes. It's been a tremendous benefit to Davie County schools for planning purposes. And it really keeps us in line with the progress within the community. So I would strongly recommend that the Board of Education adopt this interlocal agreement that was adopted unanimously by the commissioners last evening.
Any questions? I will make one comment. The little bit of traveling that I do for the school boards, one of the few things that I get asked repeatedly from Davie County is how in the world we got something like that put together. And I think it all comes down to relationships and people putting the whole organization first, from the commissioners and the school board, and just working together. But it is quite an asset. Question? Have a motion by Ms. Owens. Have a second? Second by Mr. Fuller. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next item is a budget draft resolution. I think that's back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attached to this agenda item is the superintendent's budget message and a draft budget resolution that is required to go before the Board of Education in the month of May each year. This is just a draft based on the information that we have now, so this draft will be amended as we receive federal and state allotments. I would ask the board to consider action of adopting this draft budget message and draft budget resolution.
Thank you. Questions? Entertain a motion. A motion by Colonel Hales, second by Mr. Drexler. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next item on the agenda, we are so pleased to have Ms. Jill Wilson back with us for the
so-
public address.
So delighted to be here. Unfortunately, the only one you will hear from in this portion is me. And what I will be telling you is no one has signed up to address you, but probably they'll be back next month to have plenty to say.
I'm sure they will. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda is committee staff reports and academic services, and turn it over to Ms. Jenda Haynes and the Golden Leaf Foundation.
Chairman Junker, board members, and guests, we have an update on our Golden Leaf Grant. Hopefully, this is going to pop up for some visuals here in just a second. As you are already aware, Donna McNeil and I worked with Davie High staff, some of the representatives, Doyle Nicholson, to get together a proposal for the Golden Leaf last spring, and we were awarded that grant. We were notified of that in June, a grant nearly $200,000. So we have gotten this project underway, and this is just going to provide you a little bit of an update. Let's do this. First of all, just to kind of review the purpose and provide an overview for those who haven't heard about this Golden Leaf Grant. As we started talking to our CTE Business Advisory, our business leaders, those in STEM Alliance, what we've continued to hear are that technical skills and soft skills are really critical for employability in our community as well as all communities. So this grant is really to focus on how we can improve students' technical and soft skills. In the process, we wanted to provide some enhanced learning spaces, some equipment that could particularly support project-based learning and collaborative group work. We wanted to support industry-aligned learning initiatives, particularly in agriculture, culinary, and health sciences, and provide professional development that our teachers need in the process. So if you look at impact, there are actually 9 outcomes as part of this grant, and I won't go through all the details, but we're looking at ways to increase how students are earning credentials, gaining workforce experience, earning dual enrollment credits, as well as improving our test data, their growth, and their graduation rate. And this is really a 2-pronged approach, and I could divide it into 3. But there's the learning spaces and resources aspect of this grant and the professional development aspect of this grant. With the learning spaces and resources, that's what we've really focused on the first part of this school year, and we're going to be shifting into professional development as we move into next year. Within the learning spaces and resources, there's really 2 areas. We're talking about enhancing, or we have enhanced our CTE spaces, and also have started developing a STEM innovation lab. So I want to provide you some pictures and some updates that go along with this. So starting out with agriculture, and I do want to provide a little bit of data as we go here. As we were building a new Davie High School, a greenhouse was an obvious need. And as you can see, the greenhouse is complete in this picture. The Golden Leaf funds were used to pay for the actual greenhouse kit, and then CTE funds as well as other donations were used for labor and for the what we call furniture. It's actually benches and tables inside. In the 2017-18 school year, we have 184 students enrolled in agriculture courses at Davie High School, and that's of all levels, both animal science and horticulture. But this greenhouse provides really a state-of-the-art lab space that will serve students for generations to come as they prepare for careers in agri-science. When you take a look inside, first of all, it's so beautiful and clean, and it's large, much larger than what we've had in the past. You can see in this next picture that's popping up that the irrigation system is complete. So there are drips for hanging baskets as well as plants that would be on the tables or the benches. We started getting some plants started there, as you can see, but it is still a work in progress, but it is up and functioning. This is the part that I love, that I'm really excited about as a former biology teacher. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to incorporate aquaponics technology in this greenhouse. So that's what this equipment is that you see here in blue. So the tank that you see on the left, that's the large round tank, will actually house fish. And the tank that's on the right, that's the flatter square or rectangular tank, is where the plants will be grown. There's lava rock in there that's porous. The plants can be planted directly in that, or they can be planted in containers within that rock. But the water flows between between the two tanks so that the waste from the fish become the nutrients for the plants. And of course, between the plants and the lava rock, the filtration takes place and clean water goes back into the fish tank. So a wonderful opportunity for our students to learn and grow. So this system has already been tested, is working and functioning, but does take some time to balance. So it's something that we're really going to be putting into place next year. Amelia Latham has found a local community partner that's going to provide koi fish starting next fall. And so we'll be bringing in the koi fish and getting this system up and running. And we'll have some plants growing next fall. So we're excited about that. The next area within CTE Labs that has been enhanced is our culinary. And we've incorporated some commercial equipment. If you walk into Sandy Hinkle's room, particularly you will see some commercial grills that have been installed, as well as commercial refrigeration. So this just takes our culinary program up to the next level and really provides our students with equipment that will prepare them for the next steps. And as far as food courses are concerned, in 2017-18, we have 192 students who were served in foods classes at various levels. All right, health science is the next one. Prepare yourself, these pictures are kind of funny. Meet our new patient simulator. I'm not sure what his name is. Doyle, do you know a name so far? I'm sure he'll have one or two. This is a realistic, full-body, adult wireless patient simulator. And I will say that our health sciences teachers are still learning. This is quite a piece of equipment. We can teach core skills, including airway, breathing, cardiac, circulation management, lots of skills that students can learn in a hands-on way in this situation. So as you can tell, students were very happy to pose for a picture with the new simulator. In 2017-18, we have a total of 203 students at Davie High School enrolled in health sciences at various levels. So again, these are enhanced areas that are going to serve our students well. The next area, as far as learning spaces, is our STEM Innovation Lab up on the second floor of Davie High School. When you just take a look at this initial picture, it looks like a pretty empty classroom. But I don't want you to be misled. There's already a lot going on within this space, lots of purchase orders that have taken place, and equipment that's already stored in cabinets and ready to be used. So just to give you an overview, there's specialized science equipment. I can't count how many vernier probes off the top of my head, digital microscopes, a weather station, a river tank ecosystem, as well as an ocean aquarium. And we tried to tie some of this equipment with also the agri-science, the health science, and the culinary. We have technology incorporated in this lab through Google Expeditions, iPads, graphing calculators, Raspberry Pi kits, various things that will be available in this lab for students to use as they incorporate project-based learning. A professional poster maker, as well as 3D printer for student projects, and then lots of general lab equipment to stock this room. So this is a room that all teachers, all classes can sign up to use for project-based learning as we move forward. So we'll be excited about getting that really in full swing. So as far as accomplishments and next steps, we've just submitted an interim report to Golden Leaf. We've established all of our baseline data for 2016-17 now that it's all official. We've met with the guidance counselor, career development counselors with CTE, as well as school administrators to review our project outcomes and guidance that we need in place. We're working with our technology department on the timeline for finishing the implementation of the remaining lab equipment in the STEM Innovation Lab, and beginning to transition the management of these new spaces to Davie High School. And of course, we will continue over the next months and year or so to track and report data to Golden Leaf and request additional funds as we can draw those down. So the next big focus is to develop the professional development plan for next year. We've already started some training on some new equipment. Doyle's been working with his staff to provide some in-house training and overview. Of course, there's been training that goes along with the greenhouse and those sorts of things, but he's worked with the leadership team to gather input on what is the best professional development that we need that will be well received. So as we're gathering that information and the quotes, we'll finalize that plan for next year. So at this point, questions?
I got a comment. Having taught at Davie High School and sitting here and listening to this and seeing this presentation, and having seen the greenhouse as it was, having seen the labs as they were, not even talking about the resuscitation and the medical training that they can get, which is so important. But it just seems to me that we have taken a monumental step forward. It's just hard for me to comprehend all the different aspects of what we're seeing here. So I just thank you and anyone else and all that worked with you in getting this Gold Leaf Foundation grant. I think the money has been spent wisely, and I just look to the future when we see those students, the outproduct of what we're providing them. So thank you very much.
I was gonna make a similar comment. It looks like a college, more like a college atmosphere from what I'm used to a long time ago. But it makes me want to go back to school. That's great. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the adjournment. If you haven't voted, you will have time to get to the polls and vote. Any closing remarks? With none, thank you again to teachers and staff that touch kids every day.
I'm here in the last week. Tell Rodney to win.
And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Owens, second by Colonel Hills. All in favor? Thank you very much for coming.